Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back to another live stream of Hearthstone. We started late tonight, so it's pretty late now. I'm gonna play the Shaman Warlock and get to, the Shaman, get 2 victories, probably play a Beast, and then we'll be done with the American account. And when we run out of news, that's kind of gonna be the end. I don't expect to go very long here. Let's see, we're going through the news, and I don't know if this is really news or not. Adult Swim games are half off. Red Phoenix, I believe, is a fan of Headlander, which is airing right now, so I could certainly see why he might be interested in an Adult Swim game, because that is an Adult Swim game. Where did that sale go, though? I can't see it. Monday. Oh, wait, this is too late. Darn it. Well, forget that. I'm reporting in a day. It ended Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Too late for that. That kind of sucks. Here's a game that they're working on called Hellscreen. It's a first-person shooter with a rear view camera, I would call it. Not a rear view mirror, but it's got an interesting blue and red animation to it. And it looks like something that's a fast-paced Doom/Quake game. I would give it more to Quake because I think Quake is a little bit more of a fast-paced type of game. Devil Daggers-esque first-person shooter with a shortage of no quirks. One of the main describes the game where death upgrades the player, which is especially interesting given the game is probably Let's see. So that doesn't really mean much, though. Lots of games level up a player when you die, and clearly it wouldn't be that fun of a game if the main goal of the game is to die. Let's see, let's look at this Hob review from PC Gamer 77, which means generally they just give everything a 7. Let's skip down to the bottom thing. A gorgeous world eager to be explored with satisfying puzzles and fun, if occasionally clumsy action. Wow, that sounds better than I felt like it was going to be. So I need to look at some other reviews, and I think I might play Hob. Like, it looked a little awkward, the way it was animated, in particular, but I have more confidence in it now. Let's see, same pages that I just read, and Twitter is terrible about just showing me the same thing 2 or 3 times. Here's an interesting story. Let's see how they're gonna phrase this one. So, remember the Middle-earth Shadow War charity DLC where only $3.20 of every $5 purchase was going to be given to the family of one of the programmers of the game who died of cancer? Well, apparently that DLC is now going to be free for everyone, which honestly was the thing they should have done in the first place. So I really can't give too much applause to a company that just figured out that it should be doing the thing it should have been doing in the first place. Am I being unfair there? I don't think so. At all. I don't think so at all. I think that is completely fair. Let's go ahead and kill this guy. And this guy. See, Mike Forgy. He was an executive producer. Let's see. Let's see. Forgy Goth would have been available for $5 as DLC in the phase raised before December 31st would go to the Forgy's family, but there were complications. Boy, were there complications. There we go. So now is no money given to him. So Monolith changed the plan entirely. The Forgoth Orc Slayer DLC will be free to everyone, and instead of raising funds, the WB Interactive Entertainment will make a donation to Forgy's family. Although we decided to donate all profits to the family, we only planned to actively promote the donation in the U.S., excluding certain states based on their charitable promotion laws. We hope this approach would raise as much money as possible for the Forgy family in compliance with the law. Our decision not to promote the donation outside the U.S., even though it was intended to donate money, caused many to question where the funds and from other territories are going. Answering the direct question itself could have triggered compliance obligations and put us in violation. So they're blaming the law here. Like, nobody has ever run a charity before in their life. Like, they don't know how to apparently run a charity. Is the truth. Let's see. And what do we want to play? We'll do this one and this here. We now recognize that tying our donation to sales of DLC was not the best way to achieve the goal of offering financial support to the family and creating lasting memory. We sincerely apologize to fans and to Forgy's families for the confusion we created. The amount of the donation that will be made to the family hasn't been disclosed, so it could be $1, really. However, you can just go to the U-Caring page for Mike Forgy. So if you type in Mike Forgy, M-I-K-E space F-O-R-G-E-Y, and U-Caring, Y-O-U-C-A-R-I-N-G, no space, you can find probably a much better way to spend your money. If you really felt the need to support his family in particular, which honestly, he died of cancer. It might be better to fund cancer research. Let's see, let's actually go to the U-Caring page and see how much has been donated. Am I misreading this? Or $133,514 of a $300,000 goal. So that's $300,000. Oops. Forgot to end my turn. $300,000 is probably a decent amount of money. Well, the money's going to cover medical expenses for cancer, which is very expensive even in Canada, I would imagine, and securing the future of Mike's children, so multiple children. So 300,000 doesn't seem like an unrealistic number. Let's see. Let's keep this one live. Give a friendly Murloc +1/+1. How about we discover a secret and then get away Kodo or redemption. Let's do with redemption instead. Little time. There we go. Here we have Red Phoenix on the chat. Try to come up with the stupidest name for a game. No Man's Sky 2. Duke Nukem Forever. Even more. It's pretty easy. It's pretty easy. All you have to do is think of the worst games ever. So, like, and add them together. No Man's Sky, Duke Nukem Forever, E.T., the Atari game. Are there some really awful other things? Alien Colonial Marines. Just mix all of those together. And that would be, I think, just based on past history. If you just make a game, though, that is kind of ridiculous in name, it doesn't really hurt it that much. Like, there was that game called X-Core that was pretty bad. It didn't hurt because for the fact that its name was kind of generic and bad. For Honor is a terrible name. I can't ever remember that. But the game's really not failing because of its name. It's just failing because people don't want to play a massive multiplayer game that is based on sword swinging. Red Phoenix says XT. I meant a name not based on any other game. I think you could go something like PewDiePie's N-Word. That's just the title, uncensored. Go for something hugely offensive. You can't go too far that way. That's why the latest South Park game had a different name. That they changed to the Fractured Butthole. So, yeah, if you go really offensive, if you do something where you don't own the rights to it, that would be really stupid for a name of your game. Like, you can't go and make Super Mario Odyssey and not have any affiliation whatsoever with Nintendo.
You asked for it.
But movies and video games, for the most part, you can call it anything. Like, that latest movie was called Mother, and like a famous Alfred Hitchcock movie was called Psycho. It's just simple, basic names. And then there's been some really crazy long names too. Yeah, you really can't go too wrong with names unless it's an impossible made up name. Like, if it's not memorable, and if it's or not pronounceable, that's all you really got to do. So they're clearly overpaying advertisement people to name things. Red Phoenix suggests Trump's Broken Fence. That's totally a game that would get on Steam Direct. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if there's already a game out there called something like that. Apparently, City Skylines is coming out with a eco-friendly expansion this October. Green Cities. Okay, for all the people still playing City Skylines, which I bet there's a decent number of people still that are fans. Now, here's the thing. I don't like that this is a 3 mana, 3 attack, 3 health, and gives +2 attack. And then this is a 1 mana, 1 attack, 1 health, and it gives 1 attack. Like, how do you have a 2 mana card that gives something? Are they going to make a Murloc at some point that's a 2 mana that that gives 1 health, or are they going to make a card that's 2 mana, 2 health, 2 attack that gives 2 attack? Yeah, it's all attack. Let's see, is this an article worth mentioning? Nope. As we're going through the news here. There is a lot of political games that aren't going to have any reason to play them at all in a few years. They're going to disappear quickly. Like, I don't think if you want to make a political game that's offensive or something, you're better off making a shooter where you're like playing as John Wilkes Booth shooting Abraham Lincoln or something, or Lee Harvey Oswald shooting JFK, which I believe there is a game exactly like that. That it may not be on Steam, but go with something that will be a lot more impactful and not forgotten in 8 years. But generally speaking, I don't even think doing any of that's going to get you a lot of sales. It may very well just get you kicked off Steam, which is one of the stories that Steam has kicked off 173 games, and I'll talk about it in a second, from their service that seem to be low quality fake games designed around just trading card collection and manipulation. Let's see, is this an article we're talking about that I'm looking at? Not really, it's just an interview with the creator of Demon Gaze 2's Hajime Chikami Hayu. No, it's 3 people that worked on Demon Gaze 2 at the Tokyo Game Show talking to each other. Talking in an interview. I've heard that the Tokyo Game Show is actually kind of so strict and businesslike that it's actually kind of boring. It's not the booth babes and the round the clock anime that you might expect. Even though the presentations might look like that, it's actually more businesslike and serious, and so kind of boring. I would probably get that feeling with it too, because there's like there's nothing that was really amazing that came out of that. Like, if the most interesting or wild or weird story is that Lucky Palmer went to the Tokyo Game Show. No, he wasn't even at that one. So yeah, there literally was no story. Lucky Palmer was at a completely different show when he was cross-dressing. So yeah, nothing of importance to report. So once again, it seems that Jim Sterling has decided to cross the line into what I call a bad position, I guess, or just downright corruption, like, because now Jim Sterling is a voice actor for this, what is this project, Kickstarter project for the Cyanide and Happiness adventure game. How you think you can stay objective when you're actively open and seeking voice acting jobs from the people you're criticizing is ridiculous. I mean, it's just not possible. Like, so
Job's done.
So, like, he's getting his work and he's getting his money, but in the meantime, any credibility that he should have should go down a little bit more. And the weird thing about Jim Sterling, as I was thinking about it just today, is he's probably one of the most notable YouTubers and success stories of somebody who got out of the mainstream video game journalism, and yet he's not really a good example to anybody. Like, he's constantly causing drama, constantly doing slightly questionable things, at least. And I'm on a win streak, so let's just play out this win streak until I lose. Like, if he wants to be a voice actor, he should be a voice actor. That's perfectly fine. But you can't go back and forth. And you really shouldn't even cross the line. You shouldn't have been a video game reviewer and then go work in the game industry. I know I did a whole rant last time about how almost everybody at PC Gamer now works at the video game industry, so, like, it seems highly corrupt, or at least creating an environment for a lot of corruption. Let's see. So here's the Valve story, an interesting one. Certainly a story I wasn't expecting. Valve removes 173 quote-unquote spam games, all published by one person. Okay, spamming cloned games or manipulating our tools isn't something we tolerate. So, it's not like 173 games by multiple publishers. This may just be the beginning of something, or bigger, or this may be an isolated incident. It feels a lot more like an isolated incident, honestly, than let's see. Included titles such as Fruit Candy Pop, Rage Parking Simulator 2017, Shapes 4, Shapes 5, Shapes 6, and who could forget Shapes 7. That all the games were about all the games were updated about 18 hours ago, and none of them have Steam store pages anymore, though existing owners should still be able to play them. Let's see. It seems likely that there are some of the bad actors Valve is talking about. Let's see. These fake developers take advantage of a feature we provide to all developers on Steam, which is the ability to generate Steam keys for their games. They generate many thousands of these keys and hand them out to bots running Steam accounts, which then idle away in the games to collect trading cards. Even if no real player ever sees or buys one of these fake games, their developers make money by farming trading cards. So developers are farming trading cards. Interesting idea. They've reached out to Valve for comment. Valve has responded to our inquiry telling us that a single bad actor who released games under multiple names, one of which is Silicon Echo, as mentioned above, was engaged in what Valve considers extreme actions by releasing nearly identical products. So they have something in their contract that says specifically you can't take extreme actions. Let's see. Misrepresenting themselves on the Steam store. As a result, Valve says it has removed the games and ended their business relationship with the individual. Spamming clone games or manipulating industrial tools isn't something we will tolerate, concludes the statement. Our priority is to helping players find games they will enjoy playing, and so they've drawn the line in the sand that those games were not games that anybody would have enjoyed playing. Or any significant number of people. Which, okay, I'll probably believe that. We have a full-time team monitoring reports, and they are identified an issue that led to the removal of some titles from different Steamworks accounts. Let's see. The Steam platform is open, but we do ask developers to respect their customers, and our policy spamming clone games isn't something we will tolerate. Our priority is helping. Yeah, same statement repeated 3 different times in this article, which I think that might just be basic journalism for you. I can't even really blame that one too much. There we go. Time for Megafilm. So if this was something bigger, that would be cool, but I kind of don't feel like it is. Like, it seems like this is a standalone action for a specific reason. And then GameSutra put out the same article, but they bumped the number up to nearly 200 instead of 173. Like, that is a more important number.
Do you need a blessing?
Let's see. Red Phoenix says, I'm having trouble starting a story. Any ideas? The Samaritan Paradox, if you're just going to steal and not come up with something that's your own idea. The Samaritan Paradox was a game I just recently played where a cryptologist finds a code in the book of this person who committed suicide, and the code leads to the implication that there's actually one more book out there, and so he starts looking for this final book on behalf of the daughter of the author who committed suicide. And in this, the main character goes through his investigation and finds a bunch of puzzles that the author wrote, and riddles and things to solve puzzles. And about the halfway point, slight spoilers here, they start adding more intrigue with a cult with gun running, with spying going on, with a conspiracy, with the suicide looking like it's actually a murder. There's a lot of different ways in which these storylines came about and gave you reason to suspect that more was going on than what you thought was going on. And it was rather intriguing and interesting idea. In the middle of the game, you find parts of the last book, and the book is set in a fantasy land. So you go from a main character set in modern time in the regular world. Well, actually, it's set in the 80s, but it doesn't really matter. And then you go from playing a male character in modern time to playing a female character who's in a fantasy world, and she's trying to out-trick a dragon, and she's trying to figure out what's going on because she's lost her memory. And so there's just a whole, right when the story might be getting a little bit boring, you find another chapter to move it in a different direction. And it was a rather interesting story until about the last 30 minutes or so, and then in the last 30 minutes or so they kind of just dropped the ball, and all of those interesting plot threads get left hanging, and nothing gets resolved, and something gets revealed that is rather shocking and was not foreshadowed at all. So it's not like it was a mystery that you could have ever figured out. But up to that point, I kind of liked it. The game was a little bad. If you're just going to steal ideas. Other ideas you might steal from is steal from the classics. Sherlock Holmes. Aesop's Fables. What is the other one? The Brothers Grimm. Yeah. Just plenty of sources of classic things to steal from Greek literature and set it in a modern time, set it in the future. Too Human is a game that will always be close to my heart as a insane idea that looked really cool, where it's the Nordic Viking gods set in a space futuristic place that has technology, and there's like a virtual reality cyberspace that you go into to deal with the Viking gods. Take some of the awful things, like go think about the worst movie that came out most recently and see if you can rewrite it. Go rewrite the remake of Ghostbusters 3, or go rewrite let's see, what's some of the Transformer movies. The main thing about writing or creating anything is just passion. Passion will get you 90% of the way done before anything else. And personally, when I was in school, I never did any writing assignments or anything because I was not passionate about doing the work. I didn't care one bit. And fortunately for myself, I knew that, so I didn't even try to struggle with it. I just would give up immediately. And then, while giving up isn't always smiled upon, it often is the right move. Just to save yourself the time, save yourself the frustration, and move on with your life. At a much later date, I became much more creative and wanted to write stories. There's one thing I wrote where you take where it's the sentence, "She loved me," and then you emphasize each letter and by each word, And by emphasizing each word in it, you give a different meaning to it. So if you say everything is lowercase, no emphasis, she loved me, that means something. But if you go, she loved me, then it becomes a question. You're like, oh, she loved me. And then if you do the next sentence, she loved me, it's like, I knew her, but I didn't know she had these feelings for me. And then you could go, she loved me. So then it's a self-deprecating, how could I be loved sentence. And then you can even just emphasize like the ED, she loved me, as in she used to love me. And so you've taken just three words, but by emphasizing differently, you've potentially told the whole story using almost nothing there. I also like to try to write stories around dreams, particularly weird dreams, because that is where you're going to get the most random input you can possibly get. If you can cram some reality around a crazy dream, then you'll probably have something interesting. I could also go into the fact that a lot of creative people are get a lot more creative, it seems, or become creative by doing mushrooms. Not that I'd endorse anybody to do illegal drugs, but there does seem to be something about the psilocybin or whatever it is in mushrooms that causes the brain to think in different ways, causes the human eyes to look at things in different ways and just hallucinate things. There's certainly several other kinds of drugs that will not work in as good of a way. Like, I don't think salvia is a good way to be creative, and certainly acid heavily influenced a lot of the music and art of the 70s and 80s, and cocaine definitely influenced a lot of the music. They did a study where they think that the reason why so much music was high-pitched and high singing and at higher notes is because the singers were doing so much cocaine that they were hearing things differently. It was actually changing their hearing. Apparently, Intel has a new chip called the Loi, L-O-I, a self-learning chip that mimics the human brain. This sounds like a bunch of marketing spiel to begin with, so before we get too excited, let's see what more we can get from this. Microsoft is Microsoft has announced a programming language, but Intel's making the chip for quantum computing.
The land serves me.
So it's like a quantum computing chip. Lohi is an extremely energy efficient chip that uses data to learn and make inferences. It gets smarter over time and it doesn't need to be trained. So this is a chip that is never coming out for a PC. And there's our win streak over. So we needed to play one beast, and that's kind of it. This is not a chip built for gaming, though. Depending on the direction Intel goes, it could have some impact. It's built on the 14 nanometer manufacturing process. The chip has 130,000 neurons and 130 million synapses, which I bet they're rounding off that number. So this is kind of like a quantum computer server chip that they probably won't use too much of it. Being first generation, I imagine there's a lot of stuff to do. There's probably a ton of work that needs to be done before you could get something like that to really do anything. And the general concept of having like a console or a PC, and it's going to play games against you, and it's going to get smarter and learn to be better against you, is not something you really want in a video game. Truth is that that's just you want in video games, you want it to be a standard level of difficulty, a very controlled level of difficulty. Taking the control away from the game creator and just saying, well, if your computer has been playing you for long enough, it'll always beat you. Sounds like no fun to me. Let's see. Here's an interesting story I don't fully understand. Development of Final Fantasy 15 will continue after the PC launch. Says here, the Final Fantasy won't be launching on the PC until next year. Okay. So, Final Fantasy 15. Is 15 the highest number we've gotten to so far? I would have thought it would have been higher. But maybe not. I know 13 was big. Have they been milking 13 for so long that they've only managed to do 2 other series? That's possible. Let's see. But they're saying they're going to keep working on it, and I think they need to, because I don't think the game is actually a complete game yet, which is not really something you can do for a Final Fantasy game.
Well played.
And apparently Showtime and other sites can mine cryptocurrency using your PC too. So this seems to be something that is happening industry-wide and internet-wide. Is you're going to some kind of website, and let's go over to the European account now. Come on, launch. And there's some kind of JavaScript.
Find a seat if you can.
So I think Google is probably going to put something into Chrome eventually to stop people from wasting your CPU cycles that much, but it's kind of hard to find. Here's an interesting thing. Can I on the European even make 10 pirates? Like, how many pirates do I even have? I saw a video by Kriperian talking about how while Jade Druid still kind of works, there's certainly a lot of less of that going on, because all the other nerfs actually seem to really stop a lot of that. Look at this. What a pathetic number. I have 4 pirates. It's gonna take me forever to play 10 pirates. That's just ridiculous. And if you fill in everything else so that you draw cards, that doesn't fill you up either. And so then I'll just play some rogue cards, I guess. Cheapest rogue cards I can get. There we go. And what else were we supposed to play? 40 spells and 5 games with Hunter Mage. So unless somebody was gonna come on and play me, I don't know if I'm getting that one done. Let's see, custom rogue. This way. Play standard. Let's see. Ex-Valve artist has unveiled artwork for a canceled 4-player fantasy game. Drew Wolf is an experienced independent artist who once worked at Valve. New images posted to his personal website. This suggested the latter development could have been working on a 4-player fantasy adventure game centered around cooperative combat and driven by story. So a Left 4 Dead type game in a fantasy world. Not a terrible idea. If that's the only way Valve can even start work on a game. Named Untitled Fantasy Game. What a great name. Untitled Fantasy Game. Loose sketches said were part of the research and development. So I don't think they got very far. During the development, I created a mood sketch for each character. They were done in a classic sci-fi fantasy book cover. Each sketch represents pirates. Each sketch represents the slice of the world each character came from, as well as a hint as to who they are and what they do. The collateral art helped convey direction quickly and facilitate creative discussion for each character. So they were just in the brainstorming phase of this. Really? Let's see, let's look at his full gallery. So many of these web pages, just like article, click here to see everything. Like, do I really need to, can you not just tell me or show me everything? Do you really have to make me jump in circles like this? Let's see, look at all of the art. A lot of blue characters. And a little cartoony. But who knows what it would have looked like at the end.
Job's done.
Let's look at more art here as we're trying to play the game. Ooh, that's an interesting purple alien with elf ears and tentacles for hair and a white wedding dress. And here's a robot that looks exactly like the robot from Fully Cooley. And here's a robot that looks sort of like Chell. Yeah, not Chell. What's her name? What's the name of the main bad guy in Portal? The robot.
Hey, give me a minute.
So not a ton of sketches here. They probably were just pitching a game, if I was to guess, and nobody bit into it. And that's just how Valve works. And there's reasons for it, because Gabe Newell used to work for Microsoft and he didn't like the way Microsoft is run. And fair enough, Microsoft is run horribly, but he's just kind of gone in the opposite direction of being so laid back that nothing can ever get done no matter what. Red Phoenix says GLaDOS. Yeah, it was a picture that looked a lot like GLaDOS. That's just an article. Let's play a pirate.
Blood and plunder.
And do that and that. Let's see. And that's not really an article worth talking about unless somebody actually cares about competitive Puyo Tetris finals. Like this took me to a website that is owned by Kotaku. So if you pretty much know if you're on any of the Kotaku, Gizmodo, Jezebel, Lifehacker, Deadspin, AV Club, if you're on any of those sites, you're probably looking at something not worth looking at. At least that's what I've gotten down to.
Here we go.
Let's see. LG filed a patent for a VR display that eliminates screen door effect. Easy enough to file a patent. Harder to hold on to it and prove that it is actually valid and useful and actually can be used for something. And let's see. There's a Humble Bundle for PlayStation, so I really don't care about that. And let's see. Go back to the beginning of Twitter. Ruiner is out. I want to see some more reviews of that. And let's see. Is there anything else?
Yeah, beat it.
Any pirates I could get?
Here we go.
Hey, give me a minute.
In the turn. So the thing about the Middle Earth issue is they've fixed one problem, but still they have the whole microtransactions and loot boxes issue. So if they're gonna fix that too, maybe people, I might come back and play the game after I confidently hear that people have played the game after it has actually come out for regular play and there's no real microtransactions and there's no real sleaziness going on. I mean, honestly, I still would probably be rewarding WB Games for something that that they don't deserve to be rewarded on, because they have acted very sleazily. That was a terrible way to do that. Just the worst of the potential ways to play. Kind of wish Wolfenstein had gotten more coverage. I mean, it's coming out right as they're advertising Wolfenstein 2. And the whole plot of my channel is to play old games when their sequels are coming out. So if that doesn't succeed, well then I'm not succeeding. Well, that puts us done with the news. So after this game, let's just go quickly look in the agent account and just show off what needs to be done. Make sure there isn't an account that needs to be shown. Red Phoenix has been here the whole time. Thank you, Red Phoenix. But everybody else, it's a little too late for him, I would guess. And therefore, like, good that I'm now doing shorter streams anyways. So everybody Anybody get in anything they want to say on chat, and then we're gonna probably wrap up. And again, I'm just making 2 episodes. If I'm making Monday, Wednesday, and Friday specifically now are gonna be the days I stream. That means that there will now consistently be 6 recordings, as long as I do 2 recordings per day for 5 days, which means I'll always have extra recordings. Even if I missed a stream or 2, I'd still be perfectly fine then. No more weird math necessary to say was his last stream 3 days ago or 2 days ago, which, so I'm hoping the consistency just helps everybody, even if it does mean I'll spend more time streaming.
Here we go.
Job done. Bring me steel.
There's a decent chance that by Friday I'll have a lot more news. There was a lot today, but a lot of it also was unimportant news. We might be finally going into a bit of a slump. I imagine by the time you hit October 15th or October, whatever the end of October is, I imagine you will stop hearing of games getting pushed back, and we'll stop hearing of new games being announced for 2017 or even early 2018, because it'll just be we'll just be locked into the holiday season of Halloween, and then Thanksgiving, and then shopping, and then Christmas, and Kwanzaa, and all of that. So I need 5 games. This is going to be the hard one, and I may not get it done today. That's kind of what happened last time too, is that there was, just by the time I was done playing, even off screen, I still had some things I hadn't finished. But because there's no Tavern Brawls, there's no card packs to open, so I'm really just showing off the Asian and the European accounts, not really doing anything else with it.
Pull up a chair by the hearth.
Yeah. Let's see. And see, because I didn't finish something, I already have made 1 progress here, and I can't trade anything. So 1 victory with the Druid or Hunter, 10 Divide Shield minions, and 2 games with the Shaman or Warlock. And so more work for me to do off screen. That's going to be it for the stream. Keeping them short, keeping them easy. I don't want to get frustrated with this. So thank you again for Red Phoenix for watching, and everybody else for watching who didn't type in the chat. Next time, maybe think about typing in the chat. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.